and family.
Good afternoon, Shrewsbury.
Yeah, never mind about good morning, America. Good afternoon, Shrewsbury. This is a bit more like it. Yeah, we've...
All it means is we've been around the block a bit.
That's it. He only picked on us because we were nearly as old as him. But it was good fun. We're going to start off, as was kindly noted, we are from Teesside, the glorious northeast, God's own country, and all the other appellations.
Anybody else from
Not
Teesside?
the appellations.
Teesside, front row, can't be bad.
Right, just for us Teessiders in the audience, we're going to start off with a Tyneside song.
Oh dear.
This is...
No, I can see someone's a Tyneside. She's just been clapping. Oh, there's loads of them. Dear me. Did they let you out?
This is by way of some respects a Geordie anthem. It's been around for a long time, this song, but mainly in a sort of minor key format as a sort of fairly gentle lilting song. And then our late great friend Peter Bellamy decided that it didn't suit the Geordie vernacular very well, and that it really should be a little bit more rollicking than that. So he turned it, he just basically kept the tune the same, but changed the tempo into a major key, and he still called it Biker Hill.
Yeah, except this Biker Hill's in Norwich.
No, there are no hills in Norwich, as we found out.
2, 3. If I had another penny, I would have another Jill. I would make the piper play the bonny lass of Biker Hill. Biker Hill and Walker's Shore, Collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker's Shore, Collier lads forevermore. The pitman and the kailman trim, they drink bumble made from gin. And then to dance they to begin to the tune of the Elsie Marley. Biker Hill and Walker's Shore, Collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker's Shore, Collier lads forevermore. Johnny Charlton, he had a pig, he hit it with a shovel and it danced a jig. All the way to the Walker's Shore, to the tune of the Elsie Marley. Biker Hill and Walker's Shore, Collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker's Shore, Collier lads forevermore. When first I went down to the dirt, I had no coat nor no pitcher. But now I got 'em 2 or 3. Walker Pitt's done well by me. Biker Hill and Walker's Shore, Collier lads forevermore. 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 My fault.
My fault.
Anybody spot the deliberate mistake? No? Oh, good. There wasn't one. In that case. So, it just gives us a nice opportunity to sing the chorus twice at the end, which is nice. As well as singing about our own locale, we also like to sing about things that are close to our hearts. And you may have noticed one of the things that is closer to our hearts. Cheers. So, this is, we adopted this really, well, we didn't adopt it as an anthem, it was adopted for us as an anthem many, many years ago.
Well, you adopted the beer from Dad, actually.
and it's called John Barleycorn. And most of you, well, I was going to say look like an intelligent audience, but well, you do, yeah, you do. Well, most of you will have come across the expression John Barleycorn used in the folk tradition to represent this brew. But for those of you that haven't, it's an expression that represents this brew in the folk tradition. So
It was also on a fantastic album called Tale of Ale, where Willie Rushton starred on it. It was very good, actually. Brilliant album if you can get hold of it. Super.
Thanks for that, Jem.
Actually thought I'd tell you. It's got 6 versions of John Barleycorn on the same album. That's a lie, that's not right. John Barleycorn is a hero bold as any in the land. His fame has stood for ages good and shall forever stand. The whole wide world respects him, no matter friend or foe. And where they be that makes to free, he's sure to lay them low. Sing, hey, John Barleycorn, oh, John Barleycorn, old and young thy praises sung. John Barleycorn, to see him in his pride of growth, his robes are rich and green. His head is sped with goodly bit, fit nigh to serve the Queen. And when the harvest time comes around and John is stricken down, he'll use his blood for England's good and Englishmen's renown. Hey, John Barleycorn, oh, John Barleycorn, old and young thy praises sung. John Barleycorn, the lord in courtly castle, the squire in stately home, the great of name, of birth and fame, to John for succour come. He bids the troubled heart rejoice, brings warmth to nature's cold, makes weak men strong and old men young, and all men brave and bold. Sing, hey, John Barleycorn, oh, John Barleycorn, old and young thy praises sung. John Barleycorn, then shout for great John Barleycorn, nor heed the luscious vine. I have no mind much charm to find in a potent draught of wine. Give me my native nut brown ale, all other drinks I'll scorn. For English cheer is English beer, our own John Barleycorn. Last time, hey, John Barleycorn, oh, John Barleycorn, old and young thy praises sung. John Barleycorn.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had to sing that song. We just love coming to Shropshire and drinking flat beer.
Yeah.
Where we come from, if the beer hasn't got a head that's sort of up there and 2.99 flakes in it, it's not really a pint. So.
And they charge you $2.99 for it as well. It's not really a pint.
Having said that, this Shropshire Gold from the over the way there, nice. Nice.
3 tons bitter, isn't it?
Which one?
Well, 3 tons bitter. Anybody that doesn't like hoppy stuff, that's all right.
Oh, well, there you go.
No, 3 tons bitter got more of an applause than Shropshire Gold. Hey! Not that we are competitive siblings at all, but you know.
What a
How about
partisan,
Oracle? Hey!
what a partisan audience you are. I don't know.
Water? Ooh, dry.
Right.
I was just looking at this. You see all this smoke stuff? It's very, very good atmospherical thing. I like it a lot. The only thing is, me and Ken on the end there were playing table tennis the other week, and afterwards...
Can you see smoke, Chris?
And
Because the
afterwards,
engineers are getting worried.
I went for a pint, and when I came out, this was happening in my car and outside my car. All this.
But that's happened inside and outside every car you've ever had.
It has, yes.
One point. Are you still same gadget?
Dodgy Dave. Yeah, yep.
Mike's got Dodgy Dave on the sound here.
That's better.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah. What a move.
Well, what a brilliant sound guy.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna continue with
Out, Mike.
without Mike.
Is anybody at Whitby?
Hey.
Did you say our Steve not there?
Yeah.
Yes, we were missing our Stephen for one of the concerts.
Yes. It was rather... We were taking the piddle out of him for most of the concert. And then suddenly you got this bit of a twinge thinking, well, what happens if he's gone under a bus or something like that, you know? And that lasted for about, a minute. And, and then we were back on track, really, weren't we?
He fell,
Right.
he fell asleep under a bus.
I'd just like to point out, though, that, because again, some of you might not be familiar with us as individuals, we usually hide our, our sort of talents under a bushel.
Under a bustle?
A bushel, yes.
Oh, bushel.
But we can't really let this afternoon go without explaining to you why our Ken is looking like one of the Blues Brothers. He's just come back from an audition. Oh, he's taking it off now. Right.
It's bright in here, like.
It's bright, yeah. Right, we're going to do a song now that's written a long time ago, 1984, by...
Is this my solo?
Yeah.
It's written by a guy called Clive Gregson. Yeah, Clive, great songwriter. And he wrote it for a project that we were doing to raise money for the Ethiopian famine at the time.
We weren't raising money to fund the Ethiopian famine. We
To
were raising money
alleviate
for
it.
the Ethiopian famine appeal.
Yeah, there's plenty of the rest of the company,
I know it's
including the cabinet, doing that thing all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, he wrote this song for the flip side of a single, would you believe, a vinyl single we produced as a fundraiser. On the A side,
There's two words that some of the younger part of the audience might not understand, Tom. Flip
no,
and
flip
single.
side. And yeah.
Vinyl, yeah.
Anyway,
Vinyl is
anyway, on the A side, which is another expression the younger members of the audience might not be familiar with, on the A side was a song called The Third World War, written by Keith Hancock, and on the reverse side,
The B side.
was this next song that was written by Clive Gregson called Lost at Sea. And the astonishing thing is that in the 30 years or so since that's happened, very little of the lyrics of this song have changed in terms of the effect, the state of the country, really.
Yeah, it was written about Thatcher's Britain. Well, as Tom said, there's not a lot changed, sadly.
She knocked our pub down.
Oh,
Yeah, we have no political sort of sway one way or the other, but she knocked our pub.
She paid us well for it, though.
Yeah, she can drive a truck, dig it quite well, can't
Not anymore.
Hey!
there's the grave.
There's the OBE gone.
Oh,
OBE, is that oh bloody hell?
OBE. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
We live in a mean world where nothing comes cheap. We fight and we steal to be top of the heap. Where money is king and chaos is queen. But we're all in the same boat, lost at sea. The rent's always due as the money runs out. When the landlord comes knocking, we're never about. Now we're just as honest as poor folk can be, but we're all on the breadline, lost at sea. How can you borrow if no one will lend? What can you buy with nothing to spend? When living is hard, but trouble comes free, we're all on the front line, lost at sea. With time on your hands, the days always drag, and the highway to heaven's through a polythene bag, while the pimps and the pushers are out on the street. We're all in danger, lost at sea. We swim in an ocean of petrol and blood. We spin round in circles, we sink in the mud. We drink to forget, we break down and weep, but we're still in the same boat, lost at sea. Still in the same boat, lost at sea.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There was a reference made to some of our travels earlier on in our introduction to the concert. And this song was a song that we were asked by a certain Mr. Sumner to sing for 11 nights on the trot when we were in New York. And the reason he did it is because...
Not in the show, just he asked us to do it late on us, and be as performing dogs. It was quite nice, really.
Yeah. And it's... he wanted us to do it because he wanted us to do one of our repertoire rather than the whole show, the rest of the show.
Viz crap.
Was all about this.
No, excellent songs.
So there's some brilliant songs.
Bang goes to your BE.
Just in case you listened to which thing, that was Ken now. Ken.
Has anybody seen The Last Ship? Yeah. Cracking songs. Cracking songs.
Great songs.
You can get
Anybody
on,
bought The
YouTube.
Last Ship? Oh, very good.
You can
That's
get-
nice to know that Sting's got an extra couple of bob in his pocket. Makes me feel a lot better.
You can actually get it, the whole show on YouTube.
Yeah, and it won't cost you a penny. Right. So this song that he asked us to do out of our repertoire sort of seemed to fit in all right, because it was all the show was all about the building the last ship on Tyneside. Of course, all the shipyards now have gone, and all the cranes that went with it are all gone. Barry Temple sang, written a brilliant song about the loss of the cranes. But this song is about one of the big steamers that could just as well have been built on Tyneside or Teesside or Wearside. Well, that'll do, really.
Yeah. It's the words are by Rudyard Kipling, and the tune is by Peter Bellamy. So one of the biggest kicks was, because Sting is a sound guy. If you are watching Sting, you're a sound guy, right?
That's how Mike Sting, the creep.
So he wanted us to do something, as Tom said, out of our own repertoire. But for us, being massive Peter Bellamy, initially fans, and then he became a great friend of the family, for us to have Sting name checking Peter for 11 nights in New York and all these luminaries, Robert De Niro's and all this stuff coming up, and they were asking, who's Peter Bellamy, you know, and all this. So it was really cool to be able to have Peter.
And a little voice came up, and we're looking where he is. And we're going, Sting's going, this guy wants to meet him. We're looking like that. We looked down, and it was a pork pie hat on, and it was...
Paul Simon.
Oh, Paul Simon. So I thought,
Very small.
Yeah.
You don't realise, do you?
He was in his slippers rather than his platforms. Nice guy, though.
Yeah,
He's a nice lad, yeah.
Get around a few clubs, you'll go fast.
So, yeah,
Are we dropping names?
if anyone's... If anyone,
Shall I say about the fact that Steven Spielberg thought I was the best singer?
Oh, yeah. He must have told us all that one.
I was going to say, he must have said that 5 times on the night then. Because he told me.
He's very
And
hard
I
of
thought I'd just get it in before you.
He's very hard of hearing, Steven Spielberg. Has anybody noticed? Yeah.
He's pitch
I was
perfect.
busy chatting to Stephen Sondheim, actually, at the same time.
Anyway, so we sang this song. If
I
anyone,
was chatting to one of the ushers.
so it's
You know your place.
So it's words of Rudyard Kipling, tune of Peter Bellamy, and if anyone's up at Hartlepool or planning to come to Hartlepool Folk Festival on Sunday night, we're doing a concert of the Barrack
this
Room.
Sunday.
Not Sunday. Hartlepool is in October. The Barrack Room Ballads, which is Peter's fantastic album 40 years ago of Rudyard Kipling's poems put to Peter's tunes. We have got ourselves and some up-and-coming folkies, Martin McCarthy, his daughter Lisa, and John Biddyford.
Borrow.
John
Borden.
Borden. So there's it should be quite a sight to behold, quite a sound to behold. So.
And Damien Hairdresser.
And they pinched all the best
Yeah,
songs.
Damien Hairdresser.
There's another one of Peter's excellent shows, other songs from it, over in the other tent
Yep,
this afternoon, I think.
it
the
will be,
Transports.
yes.
That'll be very, very good.
Championed by our good friends, the Young Uns. So go and enjoy that.
Well, the young ones are in.
Yeah, there's at least 3 cheers there. The Young Uns are in. Absolutely. Woo-woo.
Yes, excellent.
We live in a mean world. Rudyard Kipling never wrote, "We live in a mean world."
Yeah, of course it
Remember, you did it.
where
I was going to say, remember you did it 11 nights on the trot in New York.
Got it wrong, every one.
That's not what Steven Spielberg said.
He had his black vest on, though.
Do you know what key it's in?
Everybody got the key?
Oh, it's lovely, that.
No.
It's the wrong key, though.
You're gluttons for punishment. We do that every year.
It's part of the act.
The act.
Yeah, we are an act.
Oh, yeah. We're not even brothers.
Do you think I'd get on this stage with 5?
He's my sister,
There's many, many times.
Kendra.
Kendora.
Oh, where are you going to, all you big steamers, with England's own coal, up and down the salt sea? We're going to fetch you your bread and your butter, your beef, pork and mutton, eggs, apples and cheese.
And where will you fetch it from, all you big steamers? And where shall I write you when you are away?
We'll fetch it from Melbourne, Quebec and Vancouver, addresses at Hobart, Hong Kong and Bombay. But if anything happened to all your big steamers, suppose you were wrecked up and down the salt sea, then you'd have no coffee or bacon for breakfast, and you'd have no muffins or toast for your tea. Then I'll pray for fine weather for all you big steamers, with little blue billows and breezes so soft. Oh, billows and breezes don't bother big steamers, for we're iron below and steel rigging aloft. Then I'll build a new lighthouse for all you big steamers, with plenty wise pilots for to pilot you through. Oh, the channel's as bright as a ballroom already, and pilots are thicker than pilchards at loo. Then what can I do for you, all you big steamers? Oh, what can I do for your comfort and good? Send out your big warships to watch your big waters, that no one may stop us from bringing your food. For the bread that you eat and the biscuits you nibble, the sweets that you suck and the joints that you carve, they are brought to you daily by all us big steamers. And if anyone hinders our coming, you will starve.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. We'll do a song now that what was delightful actually when we came across to do our sound check from these absolutely
5 cups of tea, mate, please. Is that all right?
wonderful sound guys.
Who the hell's that?
Get back to the bloody Sabrina.
He's one of our biggest fans.
Anyway, when we were coming across to do the sound check, we came by the Sabrina, and there was pleasantly all these shanty sounds coming out of it, wasn't there? I don't know who was singing them.
Strowman.
Oh.
Excellent. Strowman.
Very good.
Very good.
Brilliant. So we're going to do one now, just to really show you how it should be done. But
Not to take anything away, it was great.
No, we feel we've got permission to do it now since it's already been done earlier on. Brilliant, lads. Well done. This is a song. This is a shanty called "The Bay of Mexico," and because it originates in the Caribbean, it's slightly different to a lot of the shanties you get. In that it's a syncopated shanty. So if everybody that's got intact hips feels like getting up and doing a bit of syncopation.
There's a line in introductions we didn't have to use 30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago we were known as hippies, but for a different reason. You know. We were talking about Birmingham as if we'd been to Birmingham, Alabama. Now we're talking about Birmingham as if we just had a Birmingham hip operation. Anyway,
no one has a Birmingham hip apart from me. No, but I got a special consultant. Ooh. But I said, when I wake up, I don't talk like that strange language that they do in Birmingham, do I?
He probably listened to you talk and thought, that's rich.
Actually, I was awake during this operation, and at the end they said, you can have some music.
Were you supposed to be awake?
You were, yeah. Because they put a splash screen up and they take your leg off round your neck. And then they also have like a little mixer, like a mini mixer. It's like a mini construction site.
Is anybody going in for a hip
Yeah.
next week?
Yeah.
And then
don't
they
be concerned.
And then this, and then the turnaround. Have you had one? Yeah. Isn't this true? Isn't it true what they do? They do all this, don't they? Yes, they do. And actually, afterwards, they say, can we have some music for yourself? Because it's a long operation. So I said, yeah. I've got the Beatles and I've got the Wilson family. And I said, but...
What did you say? I've never heard the Beatles.
So I said, just go one of them, that'll do. Anyway, they brought the one for when I was recovering, which was the whale music, like this. And at the end of it, the anaesthetist said, this has been the longest operation we've ever had. He said, I hope the next guy who comes in brings some rap music with him. Get back in time, he
Oh,
said.
hip hop. Hey.
Hip hop. Oh, I like it.
Very good, Michael, very good. Okay.
Chris
We
only had
spent
a
hours rehearsing that earlier on.
Birmingham hip hop because, like the Birmingham, it's like a ceramic one, isn't it? It's a ceramic one rather than a metal one. And they decided they should give him
Delph.
a ceramic one because he was such a dodgy-looking character. If he went through the airport with a metal one, I mean, he gets pulled often enough anyway.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Not enough. Afternoon show. Can you not save that sort of thing for later?
Security reasons.
I just want to know which airport he goes to now.
That's right, yeah. Must be Schiphol.
Other airports are available.
Okay.
Right. Well, what song were we going to sing?
We better move on.
Who's listening?
Right. Okay.
What we're doing again? Oh, yeah.
You ready, mate?
Well, you started.
Round the Bay of Mexico, way up Louisiana, Mexico is the place that I belong in. Round the Bay of Mexico, all around the Bay of Mexico, way up Louisiana, Mexico is the place that I belong in. Round the Bay of Mexico. When I was young and in me prime, way up Louisiana, pretty girls came around in line. Round the Bay of Mexico, all around the Bay of Mexico, way up Louisiana, Mexico is the place that I belong in. Round the Bay of Mexico. Them Nassau girls don't wear no comb. Way up Louisiana, comb their hair with a kipper backbone. Round the Bay of Mexico, all around the Bay of Mexico. Way up Louisiana, Mexico is the place that I belong in. Round the Bay of Mexico. But now I'm old and going grey. Way up Louisiana, pretty girls walk the other way. Round the Bay of Mexico, all around the Bay of Mexico. Way up Louisiana, Mexico is the place that I belong in. Round the Bay of Mexico, yeah, Mexico is the place that I belong in. Round the Bay of Mexico.
Thanks very much indeed. We're going to do a song now that comes from the pen of one of the greatest Teessiders that's ever lived. He wasn't given the freedom of Teesside, though he should have been. And in most places, if you get the freedom of the city, you get the right to sort of take your sheep over, you know, over the bridge over the river or something like that. However, our bridge is an unconventional bridge. It's got this thing, it's called the transporter, and it hangs down.
Gondola.
And it's got a gondola that hangs down on these wires, and then it rolls across with about 3 people on, and then rolls back. And it takes all day to get across the river if you've got a big family like we have. And so they decided they wouldn't give Graham the freedom because he would just be very likely to bring his sheep across, and there'd be too many for the gondola. So he didn't get one. Anyway, this song, he should have got one for this song alone because he wrote it in 1951 when he was 15 years of age. It was the first song he'd ever written. He subsequently went on over a 25-year period and virtually wrote a whole tradition for Teesside, which previously didn't have one, unlike Yorkshire, Tyneside, Cornwall, and Shropshire bit. It didn't have one because it was such a new place. It didn't really exist other than...
Derbyshire, Stratford, Cornwall.
Anywhere other than Teesside, really.
Yeah. Other than a couple of little sort of hamlets
London.
And one market town in Stockton, it didn't really exist until they found iron ore in the Cleveland Hills, and then it became a massive conglomeration.
There was the odd song around, because we did have Stockton and Yarm, which are ancient settlements, and there was the odd song. We used to go in to a famous club in Stockton called the Sun Inn, Stockton Folk Club, and we stopped going when the young'uns started going because they were singing all our repertoire. So. But there was. Remember that old lady from Thornaby, and she says, "I've got some songs." And we were very young. We were like, "Oh, this is great. We're going to discover some
collecting
skills. And she said, "They'll go to me grave with me."
Yeah.
So our Chris turned around and said something. Well, I hope it's very soon. We realised then we weren't cut out for song collecting.
Leave that to others.
Anyway, this is a song called Sea Call, written by Graham Miles in 1951. The sea call in the chorus is intended to represent the sound of the sea call guy. I mean, I'm assuming you all know what sea call is. No?
Yes,
Right, good.
For you younger ones, it's the little bits of black stuff that you have to have a proggy mat at the same time.
Yeah.
So just in case, because it spits all over. It's very cheap coal and it usually burns your carpets, if you're lucky enough to have a carpet.
So they're now looking at the radiator panels on the wall. They're going to spit at them.
So the sea call vendor would go around with a couple of bags of sea call,
She called! She called!
and that's what he'd do.
Nothing like that.
It's like when you sell the Gazette, Gazette, sports Gazettes, things like that.
It's all the more. I mean, Graham Miles was a remarkable man, but having heard that introduction, it's amazing what a remarkable man he was that he could turn that into this next song. Is it again? 2, 3.
Sea call, hear the man call. Sea call, hear the man call. If we go and buy a bag, we'll have nought left at all, for we need our shillings to buy bread and meat. But if we must go hungry, then at least we'll have eat. Sea call, hear the man call. Who'll buy, hear the man cry. It's just a few shillings for the finest of fuel. So come stoke up your fires now, for the weather is cruel. It's a cold place in winter, is old Hartlepool. Sea call, hear the man call. See him at the end of the road. If we don't go and buy quick, it all will be sold. For I can see by his wagon that small's his load. But if we must go hungry, then we needn't go cold. Sea call, hear the man call. Sea call.
Graham Miles.
Thank you.
Right, anybody fancy a bit chorus? Yeah? Yeah, right. This is a cracking chorus song. We got it from the singing of Mike Waterson, and we used to think it was a song that was written about Keith Marsden out of Cockledale. Because Keith Marsden out of Cockledale, not a lot of people know this, but he was one of them people that caused the financial crash.
He's a bank manager.
He was a bank manager. So this song's called Young Banker. Now, and I know Keith wasn't that young, but he was a banker. So this song's not about...
He was a nice lad.
He was a brilliant lad.
Oh, right.
But this song's not about young bank managers. This song is about young bankers that used to work on the canals and...
Edges and ditches.
Edges and ditches and stuff like that.
But it was, Keith Marsden left us way too early, and he was a very, very, very dear friend of ours. And in his will, he asked that we sing this song at his funeral, because it was a favourite of his. So we had a really dodgy bus driver at that time called Dougie, and his bus always was breaking down or whatever.
He was the father of my mechanic, Dodgy Dave.
And anyway, so a usual routine, we were late, going to be late for Keith's funeral, and it was a cremation, what have you. And we were all very concerned, but you remember Keith's line about keep him on a low light, for we fear we might be late. So we ran forward and suggested that's what they did. So we got there. So this is it's a song we got off the wonderful Mike Watterson, and we'll sing it for our sorely lamented Keith Marsden. I think it's not a festival, not a year's festival goes by. We just come down from Whitby, and stories we could tell you about Keith. You know, he was a fantastic man. He was a great guy.
Mr. Watterson, of course.
And obviously Mike, where we got the song from.
As I walked down one morning fair to view greener fields and to take fresh air, saw a young banker standing there, and his true love was a lady fair. Young banker, he had such a handsome face, and all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. He said, my fair maid, will you go on deck with a chain of gold around your neck? Whatever you do, I will prove true. But the answer that she gave was, I'll have none of you. A young banker, he had such a handsome face, and all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. So young banker turned around for to go away. She called after him for to bid him stay. Stay, oh stay, I will prove true. But the answer that he gave was, I'll have none of you. A young banker, he had such a handsome face, all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. She thought she heard some foreign man say, pack up your clothes and go away. It pierced her to the very heart to think that young banker and her should part. Young banker, he had such a handsome face, and all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. So come all you pretty fair maids and senses of loss, since the day in love you have been crossed. For you may lament and you may say, forever the day that you said nay. A young banker, he had such a handsome face, all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there. Young banker, he had such a handsome face, and all around his hat he wore a band of lace. Besides such a handsome head of hair, for my young banker I will go there.
Well done. Thank you.
That's that.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. We're going to return now, having made that little visitation to the other parts of the country. We're going to do a return now up to the northeast. And we're going to finish off, not the whole set, but we're going to do a medley of songs. We're going to do a couple of songs about mining, and then finish off with a Graham Miles song. So the first song is a song that was written by a lad called Alex Glasgow, who lived on Tyneside for quite a long time. I think he was born in Leeds, and he
was born in Gateshead.
Was he born in Gateshead?
Yeah.
He lived in Leeds for a while, and then he moved back up to Tyneside before, I believe, emigrating to the Antipodeans.
I thought you were going to say emigrated to York.
But before he did, he wrote some absolutely magnificent songs, and he usually did them in terms of themed categories of songs. And this song appeared on an album all about coal mining, but it was initially written for a play. The play was written by Alan Plater, and it was shown as one of them BBC sort of play for today things in the 60s. But then he wrote it in about 1964 for that play. But subsequently, or obviously, as many of us know, that in 1966 there was a terrible Aberfan disaster, and he updated the song from there. And it's called "Close the Courthouse Door." So we'll sing it.
I didn't like him to start with because he also wrote a song called "As Soon as This Pub Closes," and I thought, it's a bit dodgy, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very insensitive song that.
I got this album for Christmas this year.
Better than Scale Electric.
Sorry, give us it again, Chris. Yeah.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's blood inside. Blood from broken hands and feet. Blood that's dried on pit black meat. Blood from hearts that know no beats.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's blood inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bones inside. Mangled, splintered piles of bones, lied buried neath a pile of stones, and not a soul to hear their groans.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bones inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad, for there's bairns inside. Bairns who knew that mountainside, bairns who had no time to hide, bairns beneath that blackness line.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bairns inside. Close the coalhouse door, lad, and stay outside. Geordie's standing at the door, while Mrs. Jackson, like a fool, complains about the price of coal. Close the coalhouse door, lad, and stay outside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's blood inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bones inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad, for there's bairns inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad, and stay outside.
Thank you.
You. Thanks. Hope you've noticed we've made it a particularly snappy, short introduction set because we wanted to fit in as many songs as possible. This is a great song to join in with. We'll do this and then we'll finish off with one more song. This is a song we got from the singing of the Elliots of Berkeley, and it's a song of even though the pits have closed, the mining community still remember how important it was and just how badly done by they were. But there's defiance in the song still, so please join in with it.
Miner's life is like a sailor's, board a ship to cross the waves. Every day his life's in danger, still he ventures being brave. Watch the rocks, they're falling daily, careless miners always fail. So keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. Union miners stand together, do not heed the owner's tale. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. You've been talked and talked again, boys. You've been lulled in 2 for 1. But what have you to show for working since your mining has begun? It's worn out boots and worn out miner, lungs of stone and children pale. So keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. Union miners stand together, do not heed the owner's tale. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. In conclusion, bear in memory, keep the password in your mind, that God provides for every worker when in union they combine. So stand like men and link together, victory for you will prevail. So keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. Union miners stand together, do not heed the owner's tale. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. Union miners stand together, do not heed the owner's tale. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
Well sung.
Well sung.
We would, in normal circumstances, we would probably finish a concert spot with that song. But this has been an extraordinary year and a very sad year. And obviously we lost Alan, our festival director, which is an absolute blow. T-shirt.
Bridge North.
But we also lost a great friend of ours and absolute giant on the folk scene up north called Vin Garbutt. Well, not just up north, around the world. And Vin was a great friend of ours for many, many years. We basically grew up together in the folk scene. Vin was a smidging older than us. Well, he was a smidging older than me. He was a lot older than our
Damn
Mike.
sight older than me.
But yeah, so our paths were interweaved, and none more than when we used to get together to sing this song together. It was probably one of Vin's favourite Graham Miles songs, because it's a song that essentially is Graham Miles's vision of living in Teesside, or what Teesside's all about. And he coined the expression "the ring of iron" because way back when the whole of Middlesbrough certainly was ringed by lots of foundries and steel making plants and factories and things like that. So there was all this iron around, but just beyond, very, very sort of within sort of striking distance were the glorious Cleveland Hills. So his idea was that this ring of iron existed, but you could break through it sometime and get into the countryside.
As we said earlier, Graham was an inspiration to many great songwriters. Vin was only the start, and now obviously with the young'uns you've got Sean cracking on as well, and many, many more great singers in between. And Vin followed this through with songs like Valley of Tees and stuff like that. But when we got together, it was like a common denominator was to sing this song together, and it was always a joy to watch Vin's head go back, and just let rip, because when Vin let rip, he knew about it. So, how did he go, Chris?
Well, he's a Catholic, Vin, and he said to us before we came in, he said, "I'll join you in the marquee too if you want." He said, "So I'll come in all around the town, all around." He said he was going to come in and join us, you see. Yeah. So he is here with us.
If Vin's where he knew he was going, then you might get a visitation from him halfway through this song. So this is for Alan and the late, great Vin Garbutt. 2, 3.
All around the town, all around the town, all around the town, this hard ring of iron, it's all around the town, all around the town, all around the town, this hard ring of iron. There's grime all over the ground, grime all over the ground, there's grime all over the ground, inside this ring of iron. It's all around the town, all around the town, all around the town, this hard ring of iron. There's smoke up in the sky, smoke up in the sky, there's smoke up in the sky, above this ring of iron. It's all around the town, all around the town, all around the town, this hard ring of iron. Just a little grasses grow, trees above a few, there's smoke that's black from chimney stacks, there's water coolers too. And it's all around the town, all around the town, all around the town, this hard ring of iron.
On there's hills and pastures green, there's hills and pastures green, there's hills and pastures green, outside this ring of iron.
It's all around the town, all around the town, all around the town, this hard ring of iron.
So it's out of town I'm bound, out of town I'm bound, out of town I'm bound.
We'll break this ring of iron. It's all around the town, all around the town, all around the town, this hard ring of iron. It's all around the town.
town, this hard ring of iron.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Cheers, thanks very much. Have a great day.
The wonderful Wilsons. Doing Vin, Alan and the Teesside proud. And if you wish to hear more of them, if you make your way to the CD tent, you might be able to buy a CD to take home with you, which would be very nice. So, bear with us. We've got more music coming up.